Cruise, otherwise known as the Coast, a delightful little vessel that we've managed to charter for this afternoon's proceedings. Now, before I say any more, I must start off again by formally presenting to you my new wife. So after, hang on a minute, I haven't finished. So after 13 years of happily unmarried bliss, all good things must come to an end. It gives me great pleasure to present to you Mrs. Louise Bagshaw. And darling, you look absolutely beautiful today, as indeed does your sister, who's your matron of honour for today, and from this day forward, my brand new sister-in-law. Now, I'm really excited about that, because not only does Joanne make the best homemade chocolate brownies this side of Wollongong with our own secret recipe, but she also possesses all the essential qualities that anybody could wish for in the perfect sister-in-law. And these include such fine qualities as elegance, charm, sophistication, intelligence, and age-defying beauty. So it's a real pleasure for me to be joining Louise and Joanne's family today. So, oh, by the way, thanks for bringing that in. There you go. Well done. So here we are in Sydney Harbour, and although the harbour is one of the most idyllic and picturesque locations to possibly get married, it actually wasn't our first choice of wedding venue. Rather controversially, Louise and I wanted to get married in Corrimal. So for those of you who don't know the Illawarra, Corrimal is a small town in the northern suburbs of Wollongong. Some would call it the town that time forgot, but not me. Why? Because it's the location of our humble little news agency, and consequently it's a place where I spend virtually all my life. Now, the thing about Corrimal is it's a very close-knit community, and the people there, they don't like outsiders too much, particularly ones with English-speaking accents, especially those who have migrated south from Queensland. So it's fair to say that over the last couple of years it's been an uphill struggle trying to get along with many of these people, some of which have become our customers. Now, Louise came up with this great idea that as a way of undoing some of the damage caused by my sort of customer relations policies with my customers, falling out, etc., would be to invite them along to the wedding today. Now, I thought it was a terrible idea, but Louise's wish was my command, so I organised some extra wedding invitations, which you've all seen. Now, the only thing is, it was all done rather hurriedly, and I only got a chance to proofread it earlier on, and I just noticed that the pickup point for all these customers of mine coming along was Manly Wharf at 12:30. So, I wonder if they're still there now. Anyway, amongst one of our most distinguished of customers is the local priest. And I went to see him a few months ago about sounding him out, about him marrying me and Louise in his church in Corrimal. And I said, you know, would you marry me and Louise? He said, absolutely no, never in a million years, it's never going to happen. I said, well, hang on a minute, I mean, can't you make an exception? You are a customer of ours, and I do organise your home delivered newspapers every day. And another thing, let's not forget those special magazines I put away for you each month. As soon as I mentioned the word magazines, he changed his mind. He said, of course I'll marry you, of course. However, there is one condition. You will be required to submit to a little test, just to check your suitability. I said, well, what do you mean a test? He said, well, it's just a series of really easy questions. And guess what? You've only got to answer just one of them correct. I said, come on, get on, I've got a wedding speech to do. So the first question, Mark, are you a Roman Catholic? I said, no, I'm not. That's fine, not a problem. Next question, have you ever been christened or confirmed? No, I haven't. Not so good, but that's okay. It's all right. Okay, next question. Mark, do you know the Lord's Prayer? Well, I know the first couple of lines. Now, I need it in its full entirety. No, let's move on. Okay, well, have you or Louise ever been to, or do you have any close friends or family from Macedonia? What? See, if you lived in Cornwall, there'd be a 50-50 chance you'd answer yes to that question. He said, look, you're struggling a bit here, so I'm going to make it easier. Apparently I hear you're quite knowledgeable on sport. So yeah, who'd you go for in the state of origin? Bearing in mind I'm deep in enemy territory here. And I said, well, Queensland, obviously. At that point, he put his head between his hands and he started to cry. I said, Father, never mind, New South Wales are bound to win a series before the end of the millennium. He said, I'm not even going to bother asking who you go for in the Ashes. He said, Mark, you've answered every single question incorrectly. This just won't do. This is your last chance. You must give me the correct answer to this question, otherwise I can't marry you and Louise in Cornwall. Will you give me a discount on my home-delivered newspaper? No. No. Sell off back to the Gold Coast, you half-breed pommy cane toad. And these are, okay, before I offend anyone else, I must start off by thanking one or two people today. First of all, thank you to Mark and Joanne. Mark for organising all the transportation for the wedding party in the last 24 hours, and also introducing Louise and I to the 80s Wollongong based 80s tribute group, The Villains, who were a part of our surprise engagement night and quite literally changed our lives forever. And thank you to Joanne, if she's still speaking to me, for looking after Louise last night and getting her to the boat on time, very important. Thank you to all of our friends who have travelled down from Queensland. Now, you may not realise this, you guys are actually the first names on the official wedding invitation list. Why? Well, I wasn't sure how that state of origin joke was going to go down, so I needed it as backup just in case things turned ugly.
You're his backup.
That's the only reason. No, of course it's not. Of course it's not. The reason you guys are here is because we've known you guys longer than anyone else since we first arrived in Australia, and it was absolutely vital that you were here today. So thank you for going to all the expense and effort in flying down from the Gold Coast to be here on our special day. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
That said, if you think you guys have travelled a long way to get here, that's nothing compared to what he's had to do. Introducing my best man, but more importantly, my best friend, Ian. Now, Ian's, me and Ian go way back, and he's always been by my side when I've needed him most, whether it be on the football pitch, whether it be on the golf course, whether it be in the courtroom, or whether it's in some dodgy nightclubs in Stockport or Benidorm. So thank you to Ian and Hannah for flying out all the way from our hometown in Manchester just to be here for our wedding. Fantastic. Quick word about the two daughters, Jessica and Hannah, who both look beautiful today. Your mum and dad are extremely proud of both of you. Also little Samuel, who's kicking around somewhere, who so far has behaved himself impeccably. There's no truth in the rumour that we had to bribe him with a slap of dinner for one at Macca's for him to behave himself today. I wish that was the case. We've had to bring him along on our honeymoon next week. And finally, you'll be relieved to know, the most important person here today, and that's Louise. And why we didn't do this many years ago, I'll never know, but I couldn't be happier or more proud standing here having just married Louise. We've been through a lot in the last 13 years, some happy times, some challenges, and we've always got through them. Whatever life's thrown at us, we've always got through them together and stronger. And she's organised virtually everything today, honestly. I've only had to do two things. One is to turn up, and I had my best man on the case to make sure that happened. And the other thing was, if you remember, I organised the original wedding dress code. Now, we all know what happened to that, but I'm not bitter, because given the choice between getting married in my sky blue Manchester City shirt and getting married in this white waist jacket and white tie, I think it's pretty obvious what the right preference would be.
Yeah, we're with Louise.
We're not.
Okay, now I just want to slip into a slightly more reflective mode, if I may. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that it's an important occasion for Louise and I today. And ordinarily there would have been some close family members and also some close family friends in attendance who unfortunately are no longer with us. And I'm referring to the likes of Louise and Joanne's late father Derek, my late dad Peter, a mutual friend of mine and Ian's, someone who I grew up with 40 years ago in the back streets of Manchester, and that's Phil, and a lady who once upon a time worked with Louise and was a very good friend to all of us, and that's Mary. And finally, a guy who I met only 4 weeks after arriving in Australia, and seconds after I met him, I was making my debut for the Tigers football team, who are very well represented today. And through that chance meeting with Ian, I've not only got 8 great years playing for the Tigers, but I've got some lifelong friends as well. So I'd like to all raise your glasses, and I think it'd be appropriate just to give a toast to absent friends.
Absent friends.
Thank you very much.
Well done.